Visiting my plants in the food forest today in the edible landscape in Ocean County, New Jersey. Let me take a look and show you what's blooming. Here is the beach plum. Look at that, it is in full bloom. And this is why I always tell everybody to plant 3. If you're going to plant beach plum, plant 3. They don't have, it's very hard to know exactly when a beach plum is gonna bloom. So this way, you're definitely gonna have overlap. And let me show you what I mean. This one has been in bloom for days now, full bloom. All the flowers are open. Well, most of them. You could see some buds there. But take a look at this one. This one started blooming quite a bit later, but there is overlap. There are open flowers, so pollination can happen. You'll need 2 different, genetically different beach plum bushes in order to get fruit. But this one over here hasn't even started blooming yet. And this happened at my other property too. I had 2 bushes and they would just miss each other. One, the blooms would be falling, when the other one, they just started to open. These are literally the first flowers that are opening on this shrub, and that other one is going to be done blooming by the time this is in full bloom. So with 3 bushes, you are much more likely to have the overlap you need for successful pollination. This is that sweet cherry that's in the yard. It's still blooming, but it's starting to drop some petals. It is leafing out, so those blooms are not as striking as they were when they first opened. But right next to it is the Russian quince, and these flowers just started opening up yesterday. So they are beautiful and pink and very large for fruit tree blooms. So that's really nice as far as curb appeal goes to have right in the front of the yard. I also like to tour the meadow strip at this time of year because I want to see now I've planted this with native seeds over the years, and then I also use leaves to mulch it. So I know that there are going to be different perennials that kind of pop up and join the party every year, but I'm so excited to see that the milkweed for the monarch butterflies is coming back, and it comes back so strong and sturdy compared to some other plants that you have coming up around the yard. It's very exciting to see that. And look, the flax has started to bloom. How beautiful the flax is. Here we go, guys. This is the last chance year. Last chance. I say this every year. These are the apple trees. This is the Honeycrisp apple, and she started to bloom. Very pretty. I don't have much hope. I think you could hear it in the tone of my voice that, the blooms are real pretty, but this tree is a disaster during the growing season. I have said that I am going to spray the fruit this year with a product called Surround. It is a kaolin clay that you mix with water, make into a slurry, and it forms a protective coating over the fruit. Hopefully we'll get some good fruit this year. If not, with that product, down comes this tree, and I replace it with something that doesn't need as much maintenance from me. But over here we have the Golden Delicious apple. This is a very long bloomer. Look how beautiful these blooms are. This tree is a little bit in a little bit better shape than the Honeycrisp over there, and she is blooming beautifully. We'll see how the apples come on this one too. Obviously, I'm going to spray this tree with the Surround mixture as well. And I'm looking forward to some good apples this year. I have to give it a real shot. And if it doesn't work out come these trees. What should I plant here, guys? I'm considering nectarine or plum. I do have the beach plums, but I don't have any other kind of plums in the yard. What do you think? And here we go with the pawpaws. The pawpaws are blooming. Now this first pawpaw tree, it's gotten pretty large. This fruited most heavily out of all 3 of them. The last 2 years had the most fruit hanging on it, but it really does have the fewest blooms this year. I don't know if you can see all these flowers, but there are more blooms on this side of the plant, which is good because they're kind of facing the other pawpaw trees. It makes it easier for pollination. You can see these dark red, meaty looking flowers, which is great because they are meant to attract flies and beetles, so they kind of look like little pieces of meat. Not that they really go by the look. They're also supposed to be fairly stinky because that's kind of what attracts those kinds of pollinators. These are not pollinated by bees. So this is the middle tree. It's actually the smallest of the three. It was knocked down early in when I transplanted it from the other property. Accidentally, but it did come back, and now it's covered with flowers. Oh look, there's some damage to the petals on that one, but you can see the flower really well right there. And I think they're going to be pollinated beautifully this year. And then this is the last one that ever bloomed, and look at that, it's covered with flowers this year. I wonder how much fruit set we're going to get on this tree. It's very exciting. Pawpaws are delicious. They are North America's largest native fruit, and you can see here all the petals actually fell off of this flower, so you can see the inside of that flower, hopefully. And here we have the blueberries are blooming. Now I have a couple of different varieties of blueberries in the yard, including a bunch of native ones that just come up around the perimeter because I am where I am at the Jersey Shore and blueberries grow native here. But these are cultivated blueberries and they are blooming right now. This bush puts out early blooms, whereas this bush leaves out and blooms a little bit later. And this one even later than that. I think this variety is kind of struggling maybe in this spot. I did put some high sulfur fertilizer, organic fertilizer, meant for blueberries and azaleas and rhododendrons, things like that, to try and adjust the pH of this spot a little bit. I may have caused some problems spreading out some wood ash around the garden last year, which may have impacted the pH of the soil. So I put a little bit of organic fertilizer here, and hopefully the blueberries will recover nicely. And look at that, after the heat of last week, the Virginia bluebells have bounced back now that it's nice and cool again, and more typical spring weather. So these are a beautiful native flower that come up in early spring. I love them in the garden. Thank you so much for joining me with this video today, everyone. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video and join me for all my garden updates. I'll check back in again soon. Bye-bye.